They're big, they're green, and they're hungry.
Only shooting stars break the mold.
Hello everybody and welcome to Brawl Stars. I'm Amy the Amazonian and today I am playing Vorinclex. Just Vorinclex. Not like those other Vorinclexes, Voice of Hunger or Monstrous Raider. This one's just Vorinclex. This is a very cool big green creature that gets you some lands. It has trample and reach, and I'm going to reiterate, it has reach. The number of times I've seen people attack with flyers into this Vorinclex is, well, it's approaching a dozen, and it's going to keep happening. It might even happen in this video, I don't know yet. Vorinclex is a 5-mana 6/6, a very well-statted beater that also gets you 2 forests when it enters the battlefield. It puts them in your hand, but if you have ways to play extra lands during a turn, that's a great way to make use of those lands so you can play Vorinclex again sooner if he happens to be removed from the battlefield. You can also transform this Vorinclex. You have to pay a lot of mana though, 8 mana. And then you transform him into the Grand Evolution. This is a saga, which mills 10 cards, and then brings back 2 creatures from those 10 milled cards. So you want to have some big, scary creatures to bring back in this deck. On Chapter 2, you get 7+1/+1 counters, and on Chapter 3, you'll flip back over to being regular old Vorinclex, but all your other creatures will have a 1-mana fight ability. This is another great payoff for having big, scary creatures in your deck. So our deck has, on the low end, ramp. And on the high end, big, scary creatures. We also have some non-creatures that I think are just worth ramping into. If we're ramping, we may as well play some things like Portal to Phyrexia. Oh, what a good one. Nissa, Ascended Animus. She's very flexible. And a few other planeswalkers like the Nissa that helps us ramp, and Vivien Reid because she can kill flyers, and Wrenn and Seven because we're putting lands into play, so we may as well make some big, chunky trees. I do think that the green package of these 1-drops that help us ramp is very, very powerful, and it's also very flexible. I think that the must-haves in this deck are things like Llanowar Elves, Elfish Mystic, and your personal choice of 2-drop ramping creatures. But once it starts getting into the middle, it's really up to you. What kind of cool green stuff do you like to play? Well, I wanted to play one of the newest ones, Tribute to the World Tree. This will get me card draw on my big creatures and buffs on my little creatures, and it feels like a really nice earlier version of the Great Henge. I'm looking forward, though, to playing this deck, getting some lands, and playing some big green creatures. Ragavan, Nimble Pilferer. The monkey who does crime! This is a keepable hand, and this is a scary monkey. Thankfully, this is a keepable hand, not just because it's a turn 1 bit of ramp, Elfish Mystic, but also because I have Shaper's Sanctuary, so when they inevitably use tiny bits of burn to kill my creatures, I will be drawing cards. I guess not this time, though, because they actually led with the shock, not with the monkey. They know to bolt the bird, or shock the elf. That's legit. Into the north, I'm going to grab some mana, and they are able to dash Ragavan out next turn. I won't be able to block, but I didn't have blockers anyway. Here comes the monkey! They exile the top card of my deck, they get a treasure, it was Oracle of Mul Daya, they can't play it, I can't play it, and the monkey returns to hand. Beast Whisperer? Could be enough, could be big enough for their sitting out in front of that monkey, so they don't just dash again. Hello, I'm here to draw cards. Please don't kill me. Oh no! They killed him. And they have enough mana if they'd like to dash again. Ook, ook. It was in forest. Alright, okay. So you've used some removal, but can you remove this? My commander is a very, very effective blocker against tiny monkeys because it's a 6/6, and red is not so good at dealing 6 damage. 2 damage, 3 damage, 4 damage, sometimes even 5 damage, but 6 damage, not happening. Kindling Phoenix comes back every time it dies, unless you'd managed to destroy the egg, but it also is flying, and I have reach. I feel like we're gonna say this 1,000 times. Did you know Vorinclex has reach? Oh my god, Vorinclex? It has reach. And so does the Cavalier of Thorns. You're not breaking through this line, you little bird. Not today. Pepe is playing Atraxa Grand Unifier. You know what you're unifying? My dislike of this card. Atraxa Grand Unifier really shouldn't be matching up against any of the new cards except for maybe Ragavan. This is an incredibly powerful commander. It's a 4-color good stuff card with a stat line you would not believe, but you're gonna have to believe it because it's right there in front of us. We're gonna go ahead and ramp, though. I could have also played Ronus on this turn, but Ronus is not really what I want. I want to make sure I get Vorinclex out on turn 3, because it's going to line up my lands, and I did go first with an Elvish Mystic on turn 1. It's a race for the face, and I'd like to think I'm winning. They could counter my Vorinclex. That would be very rude. Vorinclex does land on the battlefield, gets me 2 lands. Our hand is refilled. Now this Atraxa also refills hands, but it gets a variety of powerful cards. I just get forests. They don't have to be basic forests. They are all basic forests in this deck, though. Shaper Sanctuary. Yeah, you want to touch my card? You want to touch my creatures? You dare touch? You dare target? I will draw a card if you do so. Got down a forest. They now have access to all the colors in their deck, though some of them are going to cost blood. And they're ramping! Joint Exploration! They scry, they draw, and they get to put a land into play. This is a lot like Growth Spiral, but with more scry. 1 more mana, 1 more scry. 2 more scry. They have to think about it. My guess is they're going to be looking for some mass removal, knowing that we are a big green rampy deck. Attica Waste. Boom. Kablam. And this is more damage. Vorinclex in. Looking great. We have an indestructible creature. It can only attack or block if we have a creature of power 4 or greater, which we do. And we are ramping. Ramp, ramp, ramp. Ramp, 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 ramp. Got them down to 17 life, but they're not even halfway there. The Ceaseless is more ramp. They have enough mana, almost certainly, to play Atraxa next turn. They just need 1 more land or other non-land mana source. Inquisition of Kozilek! Hey. Yeah, so about that? About that? I don't have, you know, 3 drops. But I do have damage. I'm gonna make my elf bigger. I'm gonna make my elf bigger. I'm gonna get you down to 1. They do gain a life. 2. Now, Farewell would be pretty mean. It would do a lot to my poor board. Nope. It's a River's Rebuke. I'm going to sacrifice my Mind Stone in response to this. See if I can draw something. We do have a couple creatures with haste. And we failed to find them. I'll go for Vorinclex. Do I want the elf? I feel like I can just grab lands to thin out my deck at this point. Elf or Sanctuary? Elf! Sanctuary. Elf. I'm going for elf. Discard 2 cards. I'll drop 2 lands. I have enough of them. Our opponent apparently did discard a Mana Confluence. When you have that much life, you probably don't want that. Atraxa, by the way, very, very strong and has lifelink. So even though they're at 3 life now, thanks Ceaseless, they could go back up to 10 with just 1 attack or block. You're gonna need something, though. Oh, that's a Casualties of War, isn't it? I've smelled this stink before. A casualties of war. They did have to pay a life. So I think we still have lethal. Unless, of course, this is an exiling spell. I don't think it is. Ronus the Indomitable, make my elf grow and hit this Atraxa right in her face. GG. The Gitrog monster. He sacrifices lands, draws cards, and is a big frog. Also one of my favorite commanders to play. I've got a decent hand here. I've got ramp on turn 2. You line up the shot. I'm probably just going to use this to draw a card. I like you line up the shot. It's a very flexible card, and in a format like this, flexibility is huge. So we're going to fire a warning shot to draw a card. Got Castle Garenbrig. Here comes Llanowar Elves Speaker. It is ramp. Not land-based ramp like you're doing, just regular old guy who taps for mana. Incubation Druid, which is an 0/2, which will tap for mana. I guess I will also play something that taps for mana. Behold, the Elysian Caryatid! Okay. I may as well get 3 damage in here since I'm not doing anything else. Castle Garenbrig getting the swing in. This puts me to 5 mana next turn for Vorinclex, or 6 if we use Castle Garenbrig. Though my hand is filled with non-creatures. Lotus Cobra, the hissy baby, gets them some extra mana. And a Skull Prophet also taps for mana. I will play this forest. It is a lovely forest. And I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just going to play Vorinclex here. Boop, boop. Get some extra lands. And I'm gonna hope for Henge next turn. This is down to 3 mana from its normal 9. This Vorinclex is a very, very big boy. My big boy. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. Up to 7 off just a land coming into play. Here's the frog. This lets them play extra lands per turn. Wow, so they played the frog with only 3 lands in play. That's tricky. I guess I will tap you for green, tap you for 2 green. Oop. I don't have creatures, so don't need to use the Castle Garenbrig. We just want to get the most out of our forests. We're going to play the Great Henge. Going to untap this forest. We're going to tap the Great Henge. Use this for Wrenn and Seven. Make a big boy. Go over here, and I'm going to swing with Vorinclex. If they would like to trade Gitrog Monster for Vorinclex, I'm happy to take it. Nope, they instead took the hit. They have to sacrifice a land for Gitrog Monster to stay in play. And while they have a lot of mana in play, it's not really safe since it's not lands. It's a lot easier to destroy creatures, though they know I'm a mono green deck, and they know I'm probably not running that much targeted creature removal. Why would I? I don't protect, I attack. Conduit of Worlds, they can now play those lands from the graveyard. They've got black, they've got green. Can they do anything with it? Do you have a 2-cost spell? Are you waiting? Trying to find lands. Oh, good, they found a land. Okay, so they have Malkyr Rebirth. They can play 2 lands per turn off of Gitrog Monster. And a Scoot Swarm! Nice! Once they get to 6 lands, this is going to start cloning itself. Hello, Gitrog Monster. If you'd like to trade into these, I am happy to do it. So that's going to be a Gitrog Monster for a forest and a tree. But I have loads of mana thanks to Nissa doubling my forest mana. Get some more lands in play. That is plenty of them. I guess I'll cultivate. We have no lack of mana here. A forest. A Nissa. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yes, we can go full cost here. Just had to make sure. We can make a big boy. We could destroy the conduit. I will just make a big boy. But I'm actually going to attack with everything. I guess I could have used Llanowar Loam Speaker and attacked with land instead. This is just me saying, come at me, bro. I'm going to try to win next turn. We're down to 5. The Scoot Bug is not making a clone yet, just an insect token. Here comes the Gitrog monster. We're going to play a forest, and we're going to use this Nissa's -7 ability. Give +X/+X for each of these forests. Swing in, and that's a lethal attack. GG, the Gitrog monster. It's Kalane. She makes a treasure, and she makes things bigger when you cast them using treasure. I've got a turn 1 Llanowar Elf. So we're going to be going ramp for ramp here. Kalane is essentially a 1-mana commander because of this nice refund of getting a treasure token, and very often you're going to see her played with lots of other treasure-producing things. So they'll be ramping, but we're going to be ramping a lot faster because we have a turn 1 Llanowar Elf into a turn 2 Topiary Stomper. We're just going to grab a snow-covered forest here and continue on our merry way. This is a 4/4, but it can't attack or block until I have 7 or more lands, which hopefully won't take that long because Vorinclex is going to come out next turn. And there he is. Vorinclex, the 6/6 out on the battlefield, gets me 2 more basics. It actually gets you any kind of forest, by the way, but since we're a mono green deck, we're just grabbing regular forests. I feel like you could run something like Gingerbread Cabin to capitalize on that a little more, but this is enough. All right, we have our forest. They have something with Death Touch that's going to be discouraging me from attacking, but it's not going to be discouraging me that much because I feel like we have, ooh, I don't know, Ghalta. And an attack. They chose no blocks. Prosper just sitting on the battlefield and looking a little scary. They exiled Shambling Ghast, and because they managed to cast it, they get a treasure. It was cast from exile. That's what Prosper does. Oh, hello, Immerstorm Predator. They can use that to sacrifice something like the Shambling Ghast right away. Ooh, Wrenn and Seven. Gwenna. Got so many lands in hand. I think I'll just swing in with Ghalta. I suspect that Prosper is going to throw himself in the way of Ghalta here. Put that Death Touch to good use. A little surprised that Prosper isn't their commander. I think Prosper is very powerful. There goes Ghalta, but we're going to do the thing I mentioned before, which is have reach. I'm a big fan of having reach. Mishra claimed to Gix. That's going to drain me for life when they attack with creatures. Alright, so they do have the Shambling Ghast able to give -1/-1. But I'm also extremely willing to trade Vorinclex for the Shambling Ghast here. Now that might seem strange, but I promise that there's a reason for it. The reason is I could just replay Vorinclex. I do not need this Vorinclex, and this also puts them at exactly 3 creatures, which if I happen to get to 9 mana, I do have 9 mana, but it's not all mana I can use for creatures. This guy, they're gone. They're going to be sacrificed to the portal. Here we go. Vorinclex. Ooh, let me go ahead and get upset with my deck for not tapping Gwenna there. That means we won't be able to cast Settle the Wilds. Grab some more lands. Looking phenomenal. Do I feel like attacking on? Doesn't really do that much. Next time the Immersturm Predator attacks, though, it will become a 6/6. They'll exile something from the graveyard, and then I don't think I'll be blocking with Vorinclex just because I am at Portal to Phyrexia mana. I've got 7 mana, 8, and then a 9th right here. Unless... Ooh. Well, they played exactly one more creature. So yeah, I would like them to sacrifice, say, Kalain, to put them to 3 creatures. Grab it, throw it back. Vorinclex getting the mana to replay himself is so good. Also, Portal to Phyrexia is so good. Like, really. It's an incredibly powerful card, and there's no shame in scooping to it. They would have lost all their creatures, and I would have been stealing creatures from the graveyard. A really good way to go. Tamiyo, Collector of Tales. She brings things back from graveyards. She is kind of a turbo fog commander, but sometimes gets played in a more general Simic-y good stuff. I would say that her specialty, though, is bringing back Time Warp and playing it over and over again. And with the addition of the new Proliferate cards, oh, Tamiyo can go and go and go. I've got a Haywire Might down, so if they happen to play something that's a, you know, non-creature artifact or enchantment, I'll be able to remove it. I'll play one of those, in fact. Cold Steel Heart, I'm ramping! And I'll swing in because this can't be blocked. You want to trade? Okay, cool, I'm down. That tells me, by the way, that they're probably going to be playing some ramp that is a artifact or enchantment, but almost certainly an artifact. Maybe not this turn, but maybe the next turn they've got Key to the Archive or something like that. I've got ramp, or I've got ramp. Do I want a 4-drop in hand? Yes. I will Settle the Wilds. This will get me a 4-cost permanent Rothga. Hi, Rothga. Course or crew fix, they can play lands off the top. Chip! Hello, Chip! I love Chip. All my homies love Chip. We're going to get out Nissa. She's going to let my forest tap for 2 mana apiece. We'll swing in with this animated forest. It's a beautiful little 3/3. It doesn't actually do anything, I just like to attack. Listen, we all have aggro blood in this channel. And playing Incubation Druid. I feel very rampy because next turn, assuming Nissa's alive and on the battlefield, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 mana. Which is a lot. I mean, it's a regular amount. I see an Alrund's Epiphany on top of their deck. Because they can see it, they can name it with Tamiyo. That's why cards like Courser of Crufix, Oracle of Mul Daya, Augur of Autumn are all very good cards to have with Tamiyo, because you can name a card you can already see. I'm going to start by playing Vivien Reid here. Vivien Reid is going to destroy their Courser of Crufix, because it is an enchantment. I'm going to animate a land, kill Tamiyo, play a bunch of cards, and win the game. Klothys, God of Destiny. Klothys is one of the Theros gods, which is only a creature when your devotion is 7. She exiles things from graveyards and either gets mana or drains the opponent for life each turn. Klothys is very, very cool, and I actually like her a lot as kind of a anti-control commander in Gruul. And I feel like that might be what we're seeing here. Look, things can't be countered. That's very much the theme I had with my Klothys deck. I had a Klothys/Domri. It was an interchangeable commander deck that was running as many can't be countered and indestructible effects as I could pack into the deck. That was just my way of saying I'm sick and tired of all of these counter spells. Ooh, nice. Could also be Enchantress, because they just played Warfire Blessing and went for the kill. Topiary Stomper won't be able to attack or block, but it will get me a land. I do have Besaiju in my hand, which can destroy this creature and give them a land in exchange, since it is an enchantment. Traxa, gonna punish my instants or sorcery spells. Not that I have that many of them in this deck. And now I could just channel this, but I would far rather use it to play Vorinclex or this Defiler of Vigor, or maybe even Vivien Reid. Vivien's probably going to come down at some point. I wonder if this is Gruul Enchantress. I'm gonna start with Defiler of Vigor. Defiler of Vigor lets me pay 2 life instead of a green for my green permanents, and puts +1/+1 counters on my various green, or just actually any of my creatures. It's not even green creatures when I cast a green permanent. Also, it's a 6/6. I feel like I missed that, but it's a 6/6. 6/6 good. 6/6 block. 6/6 stand in the way. I don't trust like that. I think they have a lightning bolt. And I would rather get the value out of the Defiler next turn. Oh, Vorinclex or Vorinclex? Or Vorinclex. Or Vorinclex. I'm going to play this Vorinclex. I'm not going to pay the 2 life. Grab some lands. That's the real reason I'm playing this Vorinclex. This one would get me more counters, but sometimes what you need isn't more counters, it's more kill. In Search of Greatness. If they have a 5-cost creature, they get it out for free, and they did. I guess 5-cost permanent. Now I'm going to just chant this quietly. Vorinclex has reach. Okay, so they had an Abrade. I got the Lightning Bolt read correct. So they're doing that first to try and say, I don't want you to block. Too bad, I'm blocking anyway. I don't want you to have a Goldspan Dragon. They have enough mana if they'd like to play their commander. And she is animate. They have lots of devotion on this board. And I know what I have. I got Vorinclex. We're going to play 2 life here. Get our +1/+1 counters. And then I'm going to play out Old Steel Heart. It would take a double block to take any of these out, so I'm going to swing in with all of them. Clothies won't die, but they would have to let me kill one of these other creatures. Yeah, that's fair. Keeping this Vorinclex alive would be my, ooh, I want to use the ultimate ability of this Vivien Reid. But I've got them down to 4 life. I have a lot of trample, I have a lot of damage, and I want to keep swinging in. Do you have something that costs 5? Nope. So they get the Scry. Exiling Vorinclex, hitting me for 2, gaining 2 life. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. They also have this Lord of Hydra. Ooh, whoa, Trial of Zeal. I haven't seen that outside of Limited. I mean, this is definitely an Enchantress deck. They're playing a lot of enchantments. But will it be able to survive my onslaught? This Vivien will not be coming into play with extra loyalty, but we don't need extra loyalty. We just need to get rid of their creatures. We're gonna say good game. We're gonna make use of the fact that this is an enchantment. This is an indestructible enchantment. And one more for good measure. Pay all the life I can. I guess this grabs me a land too. Oop. Swing in for 18. They can block. No, wait, no, they can't because it costs 2. They can die. Nice work, Vorinclex. Chandra, Heart of Fire. I'm going to keep this hand since we have lots of good green stuff. I can't actually play Tribute to the World Tree using Nykthos right away, but I can use the Armored Scrapgorger. Chandra, Heart of Fire is a shocking commander because she shocks. Her plus ability is to deal 2 damage to any target. She can also discard cards to get a fresh hand that you can cast during that turn. And she also has an ultimate ability to get big instants and sorceries and cast them. I feel like this is almost certainly going to be an Oops All Chandra's deck, because it would be kind of strange to play it any other way. Give it to the World Tree. Let's get down here. Chandra Heart Defier is one of the lower powered Chandras. She's not bad, she's just not as strong as the rest of them because there's so many. And here he's warcrafting. This kills the Scrapgorger. But thankfully we still have a good amount of devotion for Nykthos off of Tribute to the World Tree. And of course I say that, and then I have nothing of particular interest here, so I'll continue to ramp. I'm going to use Heraldic Banner, and I'm going to draw a card. Firing a warning shot. Nice. Kami of Bamboo Groves. I could channel that to get some forests, or I could just try and get to Vorinclex next turn. Urabrask! He pings! How do you do, brother? This Urabrask is going to be dealing some damage. 1 damage to target opponent when you cast an instant or sorcery. But he's smaller than what I'm going to call his not-so-friendly brother here. Sorry, Urabrask. This Urabrask does have first strike, though, so combined with burn, they could definitely win in a combat situation. This Urabrask I've seen, I think 2 times as a commander so far. It's a kind of cool storm commander, a bit like Bergie. Meteor Swarm! Nice! Vorinclex is dead, but I did get all these manas out of him, and I drew a card, so I feel like I got plenty. The manas. I wish to increase my devotion further! Cavalier of Thorns! Get me land, draw me card. Okay, well there were no lands in there. This is fine. Play the Kami of Bamboo Groves. It's not big enough to actually draw a card, but it will get +1/+1 counters. Oh, I accidentally clicked declined there. My fingers are not so good at clicking today. But now I have a 4/3 and it cost me 1 mana. Ta-da! Cavalier of Thorns also a 6/6 thanks to this Heraldic Banner. We have a 2-mana Ghalta and a 3-mana Henge next turn, and we have enough devotion for Nykthos to play Portal to Phyrexia. Chandra's Regulator. It's Henge time. Gonna keep getting more devotion before we crack this open. And our opponent is going to leave. Because, well, Nykthos is going to get me 11 mana, and we're going to use that to play all of this. Atali, Primal Conqueror. That's another commander I'm going to be building soon, and it's another big, rampy commander. Atali is all about getting Atali on the battlefield, because once you do, you get a spell from each player's deck, and you have the potential to flip Atali over into a Blightsteel Colossus, an 11/11 with Trample Indestructible, and it doesn't actually have Infect, but it does give poison counters. Atali is very, very scary and a hugely powerful creature. I don't think I'll be able to outramp them since they did go first, but we can most certainly try. I do have something that's akin to ramp in my hand, who is actually one of my other favorite mono green commanders, Goreclaw! And she's coming down. So Goreclaw is one of my faves because she reduces the cost of 4 or greater power creatures like this one or this one or this one by 2. Which means that I can chain together lots of big, scary spells. Alright, so they still have 5 mana here. Solemn Simulacrum. Oh, wait, so they're just ramping. They're going straight up for ramp. And because Atali is going to steal whatever the next spell is in my deck, I'm just going to have to hope that when they cast him, they hit something small, like a little elf, and not something big, like a Ghalta. You know, we can hope for the best. So since I have this discount, I'm going to go for Rothga. Rothga's going to give me a boon. It's going to permanently double my commander's power and toughness. A nice, big, chunky Vorinclex. I could have also gone for Ghalta here, but the reason I went for Vorinclex is because this is a repeatable cast. I can get this out multiple times, and it will always be, unless I decide to remove this perpetual change, a 12/12. Alright, so on my end, they hit Pincy Haka. Oh, but on their end, they hit Ulamog. Lemorge. Alright, I will move my commander to the command zone, and I will not remove that perpetual effect. Hello, Ulamog. Yeah, so that wasn't my Ulamog, that was theirs. But it does make sense that you would want to have free Ulamogs in your deck. If I want to go for some card draw, we have the Beast Whisperer, but I think we're just going to go for big boys here. Vorinclex to start. Get some more lands in hand. Unfortunately, I can't play another land this turn, but I can get out the Elvish Mystic. So we have the 12-12 out. They have a 10-10. And this 10-10 is going to be doing a lot to exile from my deck. Atali. Why are you swinging in? Atali is indestructible on the backside, but this tells me there's something going on, and I do not know what. Oh, they just want to cast him again. You know, that makes sense. They want to steal. Domri! Or maybe they want to fight. And fight they did. Ulamog's indestructible, so he does not die here. No, I do not want to remove the perpetual effect. 12-12 Vorinclex is a good boy. Got Clothis, an indestructible god. She'll be exiling from graveyards. Marwyn. I can put all my mana into Vorinclex. I'll actually have an overfilled hand if I do that. I think we can just throw down Ghalta. I think this would discount by 2. But I wouldn't have anything else to play. So yes, I'm just going to throw down Ghalta. And enjoy my nice, lovely Beside You here. They don't have anything I'd really want to destroy, though. They have enough mana to recast things. Let's see if they just get Atali out here. Hi, Atali! What do you steal? Looks like Incubation Druid from me and Vorinclex for them. Ah, now they have my commander too. An elf enters the battlefield and Marwyn grows. And Vorinclex is going to get them 2 forests out of their deck. By the way, if they still had things like Stomping Ground in their deck, they could grab that using Vorinclex. He actually can get these non-basic forests, which is pretty cool. Alright, they exile 20 cards out of my deck. Oof, 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 owie. Yeah, I'll block. I'll do what I can. Try and stay alive. Kami of Bamboo grows. Puts an extra land into play. And Augur of Autumn lets them play lands off the top of their deck. Or creatures, because they do have Coven active. Beast Whisperer, I'm gonna need your help here to draw something good. I said something good. That's not enough. Mind Stone. Anything? Any delicious treats? No? A Paradise Druid? Well, it's not getting me there. And they could flip either of these this turn. So do I think that they'll be going for the big kill? For the big slamma-jamma? Yep. Atali flips over. He's now an indestructible 12-11. I have to prevent at least 2 of this damage. Because if I don't, well, poison happens. Big poison happens. I will throw the Wayward Swordtooth in front of this. It is indestructible. And I'll put the Paradise Druid in front of Ulamog. I am not dead yet. But one more hit from Atali will secure my fate. They could also use Domri here if they would like to kill any of my creatures. That was actually the one choice you couldn't have made, because you no longer get that +1/+0 buff. Ghalta lives! I can make them sacrifice 3 of their creatures. And that would be normally great, but they have considerably more creatures than I do. I shouldn't have led with that land, since now we'll be able to play lands off the top. Vorinclex, help me! Allosaurus Shepherd, help me! I'm alive. But only barely. You get out of here with your ding-dang poison. They now have a little mighty might. But since Ghalta's still alive, I do have blocking. Ow, rude. I'll only take half poison damage, so I don't necessarily need to prevent all of this. But with Ghalta available as a blocker, and them no longer having that buff, I think I just sit in front of this Atali. We're out of cards, though, so... Rip and Peppies. Good game. John Renicus, the Exile, as piloted by Sukiyaki. There's literally only one person I ever see playing John Renicus, and it's this person. You've probably seen them in other Brawl Stars videos. John Renicus mills or draws cards. That's what he does. And this deck, I have actually watched Sukiyaki take their deck from what I will call a fairly fair back and forth deck into a control deck. I think that they realized that the only way to win in this Brawl world is, unfortunately, control. Being able to counter lots of things, kill lots of things, rather than focusing more on mill is just a better way to play in this format if your goal is to have a higher win percentage. And Arena really only does reward win percentage, which is tough if you're trying to just enjoy yourself and have a good time. Alright, so I don't get milled here. I played a card off the top. Went first. They have 1 mana, but they can cast a 2 mana spell. I think we could go for Vorinclex or for Thrun here. I actually like the idea of doing Thrun. Thrun can't be countered, can't be targeted by non-green spells or abilities, and is also indestructible during my turn. This is a nice way to clog up the board and make it harder for them to attack in. Soul Shatter, though, not immune to sacrifice effects. And here comes Tasha. They can actually steal my Thrun using the minus ability. And now the Thrun is over here. Dang it, Thrun, you were supposed to be my friend. You were supposed to be my friend. That's okay. Here's Vorinclex. Vorinclex, attack Tasha. If they block, Thrun will die, because only indestructible during their turn. If they don't block, Tasha will die. Alright, so they're going to block. Thrun is gone, and Tasha is now down to 1 loyalty. We also have this lovely little Vorinclex on the battlefield. Hello, Vorinclex. Oh, and Vorinclex gets to stick around here because Liliana comes in with half loyalty. We each discard a card. I'm going to discard Garruk's Uprising because I have the Great Henge for the same cost, and it's just better for me. If I attack in, there will be no -1/-1 counters because of Vorinclex. I draw a card, and I'm going to try to land the Great Henge. It probably gets countered here. Wash away. Yep. Brawl can now cycle through a card here. He loots, he draws, he drops. Mother of Autumn, do you have anything on top of the deck for me? No, you don't. We're gonna swing at Tasha again. There's no -1/-1 counter, and Tasha's off the battlefield. Thank you, Vorinclex, by the way, for keeping all of these planeswalkers in line. I appreciate it. Sometimes, you know, teamwork really does make the dream work. Each player discards a card. I'll drop the Wayward Swordtooth. Lets me play extra lands per turn. We know what's on top. We have a Beast Whisperer here. And a land. Cool. And an Emrakul. Oh. Yeah, how much mana I have. I don't particularly want this milled. I'm gonna go for this Vorinclex just to shuffle this around. Behold the Multiverse. It only costs 3 mana because of Brawl. Get me to Forest. Doot, doot. Oh, Tangled Florahedron. Notably, I do not have Coven because I have 2 Vorinclexes and they have the same stat line here of being 6/6s. I need to have 3 different powers among my creatures. I actually don't know that much about Dungeons and Dragons characters. And I wonder if Sukiyaki plays John Arenicus because it's a favorite, like, character of theirs. I feel like that's very possible. Beast Whisperer lands. That's gonna let me draw a card when we cast our creature here. Tangled Florahedron. Land into play. Casting Lotus Cobra to draw another card. I'll swing in with both the Vorinclexes. Vorincleces. Oh, that's a Hullbreaker Horror. I actually did not think they had 7 mana. I thought they had like 5. That I was not counting. So, the counters Vorinclex dies. Whenever they cast a spell, they're going to be able to either bounce something on the stack or a permanent on the battlefield. And since that counters Vorinclex is gone, Midnight Clock will now start ticking up. Move my commanders to the command zone. Yeah. Yeah. I'll take 7. They draw a card. Midnight Clock triggers. There's a land on top. We will use it. For mana! I'm gonna play Rothka here. Disallowed. Augur back into hand. We're going to want to make an impact on our cards that we put into play. Unfortunately, these aren't going to be too fast or too furious. Augur Bottom, it gets countered. Who goes back into hand? This time it's Lotus Cobra or Tangled Florahedron. Do I pay the 3? Yes, I will. Augur Bottom is on the battlefield. I'm not going to be able to block here, and they are just short of lethal on their attack. Bringing me to 1. Now this Hullbreaker Horror, probably going to be my end. I don't have that many hexproof permanents that I can get out to block here. So I'll try to build up my board as best as I can. Though my best may not be enough. Especially because they're very unlikely to brick on having a card next turn between Midnight Clock and Search for Iskanta. Nope, that's definitely going to be it. We'll give them a good game. And concede. Ragavan! Nimble Pilferer! I don't have amazing blockers here, but I do go first, so I'm going to keep this hand. I have Paradise Druid, which has hexproof, which makes it a lot harder for Ragavan to kill it before I can set it up as a blocker. Hello there, Ragavan. Say hello to my elf druid. She's just like, hey, I have some pretty butterflies and I'd really like to live through this turn. Thanks. Okay, bye. They did not attack, which gives me an opportunity to ramp. I'm gonna play an extra land this turn, and I'm going to keep this back. I could have also done Keely Archives, but I want to be able to block Ragavan, because if he hits me, well, that's card advantage. That's treasure. It's a really strong little monkey. Vorinclex. Settle. I'm trying to decide if I want to settle for a 6-drop or if I want to go for 7. 7. That gets me Nissa. Nice. Key to the archive. I'm going to get rid of my untouchable blocker here. See what we can get into hand. Counterspell. Claim the firstborn. And regrowth. I'll take the regrowth and just put it in my graveyard. I don't really want any of those. And I'll sit here. Hi, Chandra. Dress to kill. Gets more mana. Deals damage. Card advantage. And eventually some big ol' spell damage. To exile the top card, it was a mountain. Because it's not technically red, it's a colorless card. They can't use it off Chandra. And there's a Goblin Shaman. Nice! I have an obscene amount of mana here. And I would like more obscene mana. So I'm going to use Vorinclex to get 2 lands in hand. Boop, boop. And then I'm going to use Dryad of the Elysian Grove to play these. And then Nissa. I can actually pay the full 7. And I can just plus. I don't feel pressured at all to minus. Because an ultimate ability, or just making lots of big boys, is hard for mono red to deal with. GG, Ragavan. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Brawl Stars. I hope you enjoyed this big green stompy deck as much as I did. As always, if you'd like to see me record these live, you should come over to twitch.tv/Amazonian, where I play Magic the Gathering almost every single day. I've been making an effort to get more videos onto my YouTube channel, so I've been recording more things and doing more deck builds over on my channel. March of the Machine has been an incredible set for Commander, and of course Historic Brawl, which is like an offshoot of Commander. So if there's a Commander from the set you'd like to see me brew, you should let me know in the comments, or you should keep an eye out on my channel when I happen to do polls asking who we should build next. Thank you again so much for watching, and have a brawlful day!